much better. When I look back over what he brought me through, I realize I made it because I had you to hold on to. Now I'm stronger. Now I'm wiser. I'm better. So much better. I made it. Is there anybody in this house other than me that can declare you made it? Tell your neighbor, never would have made it. Never would have made it. Tell them never could have made it. Never could have made it without you. Oh, I wish I had some help here. I wish I had just 2 or 3 people that would just declare it. Never would have made it. Never could have made it. Never could have made it. I just love to encourage myself. Sometimes I just look in the mirror and say, I'm strong, I'm wise, I am better, so much better. When I look back over what he brought me through, I realize I made it because I had you to hold on to. But I never would have made it. I never could have made it without you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, good God Almighty, never would have made it. Never would have made it. Never could have made it. Never could have made it without you. Sing it one more time. All I need is you one more time. Everybody say with me. Never would have made it. Oh. Never could have made it.
All right. So in this video, we are going to be talking about my jail situation. So basically, after college, into the life I was living after college. All right. So again, I'm just going to reiterate that basically these are testimonies and things to give encouragement and hoping, in hopes that it could potentially touch someone, that it would bear the correct fruits and bear the, fruits of the spirit that will help someone in their growth and their knowledge and their, you know, uh, where they may be stuck or feeling like God isn't not listening, God isn't there, or God doesn't want to commune with them, or God doesn't want to talk to them because of the fact that they did a certain thing. But so basically we're gonna start with right after college. To be honest, I can probably go to my photo album because I never really deleted anything. So my memory isn't too vague, but mainly of the things that um that's like really important to the story. So if I go up, let's see, after college, this was all during college. And look, I can actually show you some videos that I still have in here from my college days. I ain't gonna turn the sound on because we ain't listening to nothing important. But like, nah, some people may be like, ain't nothing, but it's like that's just videos. It ain't like I'm showing my whole story, my whole life right there in one video. Just showing like something small, like. And the music I used to listen to was horrific, bro. Like just terrible. Let's see. I think it was before that. Some of y'all might put two and two together with that video I also showed. But like look. Like just doing all type of stuff. Just doing all type of stuff. And it's just boxing. Like I said, the videos I'm showing ain't like nothing too crazy. I'm not finna. Most of those videos are even already deleted anyway. But hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. That was my mother. She was calling me. I didn't want to stop the video, but so um, yep, May 31st. Well, that's not when I was born. It was May 22nd, but this picture was on May 31st. And then, like I said in the last one, I used to text my brother and stuff. And it's not, I don't have all the messages, but I just screenshotted certain things, just. And then I hate the fact that I now can't get back into my old Snapchat because I have photos and videos in there, but I probably don't need them. I probably don't need them. But we're about to get into the story. I'm sorry that literally 8 minutes in, we haven't even talked about what's mainly important. But I just want to kind of add this in, you know. Actually, I'm gonna play the sound of one video. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Like and everybody knows how Young Boy is in his music. It's terrible. But and not even just that, but like there's other music that I used to listen to that was just terrible also. So now we're getting into okay, so you can see that those videos were videos of when I was just still in college. That video I just literally played like 2 seconds ago was after. So in that video, nothing specific was happening. It's just kind of bringing back memories of certain things. But after college, pretty much nothing really changed. I started living. I was still living the same way, doing the same stuff. Um, Going to the clubs, drinking. I didn't smoke. The only thing I did was drink. But the only time I drank was when I went out. It was not. It wasn't like your constant regular drinking and stuff like that. I didn't even like drinking anyway, so I don't. You can judge from that I was probably just trying to fit in, or just trying to, you know, be with the crowd or whatever. Um, and like from that point, things just kept going left. Like nothing was hitting right. Um, and I think it was at this point. Let me see, what point is this? Yes, this is still all before I ended up getting locked up. What day is this? This is December 12th. This was literally a couple days before December 31st is when I got locked up. So this was December 1st. So December 1st. As you can see, that's me right there. Hold on. Yep. So this was December 12th. Um, and like, bro, like, I was just doing stuff, to be honest. Like, I don't even know what I was doing myself. Like, so around this time, I was getting myself into certain things that were not pleasing. Um, I don't know if it would be, let's just say, what I was doing. It wasn't bad, but it was bad as to the sense, like lawful wise. I didn't do nothing to nobody. I didn't hurt nobody or nothing like that. Um, and it was more so dealing with drugs again, but I didn't take no drugs. I'm gonna just reiterate that. Okay, now we get into the photos of when. Let me see. This is December 16th. This is December 27th. Oh, and here's actually the photo. Somebody had searched up my name, searched up my name in the system. Hold on. I know I just put my whole full name out there. Yep. So, yep, I was in jail. Not, I don't see how some people, be proud of that. Going back to jail constantly or being in jail in general. And by the way, he spelled my middle name wrong. It's Malik. Um, yep, December 31st at 6:53 p.m. Book date. They actually didn't book me in on that day. I went in. They actually did. I didn't get booked until the next day. But this was the day I got locked up. So how did it happen? I was actually drunk this same night. I was drunk. And this was the last time I drank. Wait, no, it's not. I lied. My bad. Um, but uh, this night I was drunk. I was hold on. Just yep. So I was drunk. Got into, and I'm glad these pictures are actually right here because I'm gonna show these pictures as well. But I was upset because this chick or whatever that I was liking at the time, um, kind of made me upset. So I decided to get in my car and drive off. Now my people, they didn't want me getting in my car. They was trying to keep me from driving off, but I ended up getting in my car anyway and driving off. They didn't even know I left. So what I did was I get down the street, and when I get down the street, I when I get down the street, I pull over at the gas station because I wasn't about to go nowhere far and do nothing crazy or nothing like that. But I feel as if this was God setting the point for me to start realizing or opening my eyes to what I was doing in the road I was heading down. So ended up pulling over and ended up falling asleep in the car. When I wake up, or when I was woken up, whichever one, I don't know. Um, there were two cop cars sitting outside my vehicle, and they were tapping on the glass. I think one of them even opened my door, and they can literally smell the liquor. They knew already what was up. So they asked me, what I was doing, asked me other questions and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm just chilling, you know, and I'm not sure how the law works with like driving and stuff. It's not so. It's like my car was actually turned. Was it turned off? I don't know if it was turned off or not, but I know I was in park. I didn't. I wasn't driving or anything, but they was asking me, all these different type of questions and stuff like that. And then I ain't gonna go through literally everything. So they asked me if I could get somebody to come get me. I was like, yeah, my brother, he stays right down the street. Um, that's literally where I just came from. Like literally right down the street from my brother's house. He was like, okay. And I even pulled out my phone so I can show him exactly what I was talking about, and pulled up my brother's location, and it was literally pointing like right down the street. But you know, at this point, I feel like they was already had it in their mind to go ahead and start setting me up or whatever. Uh, so when that happened, one of the officers was like, "So I forgot what questions they was asking me, but it was leading up to like suspicions of other things or something like that. I don't know. Um, and then after that, he grabbed my keys. My keys had fell on the ground. He grabbed my keys, and I can remember this part so vividly. I would never forget it. He grabbed my keys off the ground. And hold on, I'm finna show y'all. So I had I had I had something like this, right? But it was a small one. It was a small one. It was the keychain one, and it was like this. And I kid you not, He sat there and said, and told the other officer, he was like, I think there's weed in this. Um, and one thing for sure is I didn't smoke. I have smoked before, but I didn't smoke. You know, my last time smoking was literally when I was in college. But he literally told the officer, the other guy, he was like, "Yeah, I think there's something inside of here." Um, and used that as leverage to search me and stuff like that. And I was like, "There's no way." I was like, "Bro, that is a tire pressure gauge. Like, that's not what you trying to portray that it is." And I feel like he knew, but I guess he thought since he drunk, I could probably get over what I'm saying. I don't know, but it was literally just one of these. Just one of these. Not the same one, it's a different one. But it was literally just one of these, and it was just dirt on the inside of it. So from that point, and by the way, he never gave me back my phone. So I couldn't call nobody. So this is where I felt like I was already being set up to go down. But like we say, or like I say, everything happens for a reason. You know? So I feel like that happened for a reason. You know, I gave him my phone. I don't know why I gave him my phone. But I gave him my phone to show him, um, and he never gave it back. So then after that, they started searching my car and found some things that were illegal. And they actually took my little gun knife. It was like a little it was a knife where like in a shape of a gun, looked like a gun, but it was actually a knife. Like you can pull it out and it was a knife right there. But they took that. I don't know why. But I guess any weapons dealing with drugs and stuff, you know. So after that, they ended up bringing me in. They put it as a scheduled for possession of a schedule for controlled substance, dangerous substance, um, which is basically the intent to sell stuff like that. Um, let me see. Let me see if I can pull it up right quick. And by the way, if you tried to look for my name in a system, you probably wouldn't find it. But we're going to get into that in a minute and why. Hold on. And I will also want you to keep in mind that I'm a black man in Louisiana. That's all you need to know. That's all I need to tell you. And anybody know that's from Louisiana that's black and dealing with the system, you already know what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna go ahead and read the penalties for what they put under me. So manufacture, distribution, except as authorized by this part, it shall be unlawful for any person knowingly or intentionally to produce, manufacture, distribute, or dispense or possess with intent to produce, manufacture, distribute, or dispense a controlled dangerous substance classified in Schedule 4 to create. Oh, wait. Penalties for violation of subjection. Any person who violates subjection A with respect to, don't know what that word says, shall be sentenced to a term of imprisonment and hard labor for not less than 5 years nor more than 30 years, and pay a fine of not more than $50 $50,000. Any other controlled dangerous substance in Schedule 4 except flunitrazepam. I don't know what that is. Shall be sentenced to a term of imprisonment at hard labor for not more than 10 years, and in addition may be sentenced to pay a fine of not more than $15,000. Possession, it is unlawful for any person or intention. Blah, 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 blah. It's literally just saying the same stuff. But you get the gist of, the repercussions for somebody that is, under this law. So, when I got in there, when they brought me in, I ended up, I was only in there for 3 days and 3 nights. Well, 3.5, 2.5 nights really, because on that third night, but we're gonna get into it. All right, so they brought me in. I didn't get booked into the next day, because it was literally New Year's, and then, when they brought me in, spent the night in like that, like holding cell, I guess they called it or whatever. Spent the night there before they did anything else. The next day, they did book me in that night, but it wasn't until like hours later. So then after that, they brought me to the quarantine cells that they have people in before anything. And before they did that, though, they allowed me to make phone calls and whatnot, and that's what I did. So then after that, I'm trying to remember vaguely everything that happened. After that, when they brought me in, they brought me to the quarantine, put me in that fat orange jumpsuit. Then when I went in there, I saw basically 4 people I knew that was in there. So it was like my thought was like, man, I'm really being here with people I don't even know. Whole time I was literally in there with people I actually knew. And that was crazy. That was one of the crazy parts about it. I was like, what the heck? And when he saw me, he was like, what is you doing in here? And then I was like, I don't know, man. I didn't even want to talk about it. I didn't, but so after that, after they brought me in or whatever, did all that, I was in there. And then I think after that first night, the second day, they did these things where they have you go into this like room and they call somebody. I don't know what they was doing. I wasn't even really paying attention for real because I wasn't even thinking about wanting to stay in here to begin with. So I was like just kind of like out of it and just ready to get out or whatever. But I knew I deserved it anyway. But I forget. I can't. I really can't remember. They had me sign something. It was some papers. I don't know. I was reading them. Like I was trying to read it because they wasn't really letting us look at it for real. But they had me look at some papers and stuff, and it was like like, okay, so this thing says no more than 50. Not okay. Flun shall be sentenced to a term of imprisonment at a labor for not less than, hold on. It says any other controlled dangerous substance classified in Schedule 4 except flun shall be sentenced to a term of imprisonment at hard labor for not more than 10 years, and in addition may be sentenced to pay a fine of more than $15,000. Oh, that says 15. I thought that said 50. I'm tweaking. It says $15,000. But I read that paper and it was way more money for that fine. And I was like, that's crazy. And then it was way more money. I mean, not way more money, way more years on the hard labor imprisonment thing. I was like, yo, this can't be right. not for not for what I came in here for. I know y'all lying to me. Like, y'all just ready to throw the book at me completely. Like, I don't know. It was my first time in there. That was literally my first time in jail. I don't know how that stuff worked. I don't know what that stuff I was looking at, what I was reading. But they had it highlighted in yellow. So everything that was highlighted in yellow, I was reading it. And it was like, I think it said like 60,000 on the fine part, and then it said something about estimated time or something like that. I was like, these estimations are crazy, cause ain't no way you about to make me spend 10 to 15 years in here for that. I was like, but regardless, I probably would have deserved it. You know, I shouldn't have been in that area. I shouldn't have been doing those things because that was not me. Again, wanted to fit in, wanted to get into that fast money area and stuff like that. So after that, they had me sign those papers and stuff, and then had me go back to the cell. And then they also had these little kiosk things where you can talk to your people. Like, they didn't have like the phones and stuff. It was like kiosks where you can like literally FaceTime in jail, which is crazy. But my people ended up putting some money on there so I can talk to them while I was in there. And I was talking to my people, all my family while I was in there. And then after that, I also called my dad and let him know that they wasn't giving me no blankets and stuff. Like, they wasn't giving me anything. I think I did that on the third night. It was either on the second night or the third night when I did that. But I think it was the second night because they ended up giving me a toothbrush and everything. Like, none of that they didn't give me. My dad said, he was like, all right, hold on, let me call somebody right quick. So he called someone, and I'm assuming that he called someone because they ended up giving me everything that I was literally saying that I didn't have. You know, even though the blanket had buku holes in it, as if it was a Kanye West clothing line, you know, it was still something. It was better than having nothing. And to be honest, like, my jumpsuit, I can literally like pull my I could have literally pulled my arms in and pulled my legs in and been snuggled up in my jumpsuit. That's how big my jumpsuit was. And then but I had that, and then they gave me a toothbrush and stuff, but I ended up losing my toothbrush because the person that I was in like the little cell with or whatever, the dude ended up using my toothbrush. I was like, not finna start this. I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm not even gonna be here that long. I'm not finna I'm not finna cause anything to be any worse than what it already is, you know. So I just left it alone. So and I didn't actually know if I was gonna be there any longer. I was just telling myself that because I'm not. I don't want to be putting myself in a negative state when I'm already in a negative state. That would just be bad. But um, after that, then the third night. Oh, I didn't mention. So there was one night where I was supposed to get on the call with my mom, and I didn't know how everything worked in the jail. So when they say lights out and stuff, and everybody going to the little cell and the doors locked, my cell didn't lock. My cell was still unlocked. So me and the guy that was in the same cell was able to walk out and just walk around freely. But I never knew that literally in the middle of like the little area, there's cops that are sitting in there watching the cameras that are, inside of our little holding areas. I never knew that. And nobody said nothing to me. So when and when you're, when there's lights out, you're not supposed to leave out your what you call it till the next morning or whatever time they open them up. So I was like, man, I'm not finna miss this call to talk to my mom. I'm not finna miss this call to talk to my mama. So I went over to the kiosk and it was my mom was literally calling and I was like, bro. So I hurried up, ran over there, answered it, and then we talked for like a good 5 minutes. And then I told her, I was like, I don't think I'm supposed to be out on my cell. And she was like, boy, why you on this thing with me? I was like, I don't know. I didn't want to miss the call. So I was like, she was like, all right, go ahead before you get in trouble or something. So then we ended up hanging out. And then while I was on there, one of the guys in there that I knew, he was like, boy, you better get back to your cell because if they see you, you're gonna be in some trouble. I was like, what? So after they finished, hung it up, went back to my cell. And he probably it had to be God because at no point did anybody say anything on the intercom. Nobody didn't come into the cell a little later and be like, yo, what were you doing? Or anything like that. Like nobody said nothing. And it was by the grace of God that God allowed me to be able to talk to my mom at that moment. So the third night, just another normal day. Everybody wake up, do the same thing, talk, eat, and whatnot. And that food was so nasty, man. So nasty. But I can say whoever was making the Kool-Aid or the juice or whatever was actually good. But the food was nasty. And then, it was just another normal day. I don't think I got on the kiosk that day. But literally right after yeah, just a normal day. So becomes nighttime and I'm about to lay down and go to sleep. This is the third day. Third night, I mean. Third day, third night. About to lay down and go to sleep. And before I go to sleep, I'm pretty sure each night I prayed. I'm pretty sure. Each night I definitely prayed. If I didn't, Lord forgive me if I'm lying, but I believe each night I definitely prayed. But on this night, I prayed again. I prayed and I was like sincere in my prayer, man. It was like, and God knows, and we ain't playing God at all. He is literally the God outside of time, looking in on everything, seeing everything happen. So, it's not like I was trying to play God or anything. Like I was really genuinely did not want to be in that situation I was in. And one thing I can say is now I never went back to doing anything like that. You know, I may have went back to some other things, but that being one of them was one thing I never went back to. Um, so that night I prayed and I laid down and was about to go to sleep. And soon as I was about to doze off, I heard somebody call my name. And I was like, yo, is this the voice of God? Like, I was like, hold on, am I actually here? I was like, what am I hearing right now? Because somebody called my name. So I get up, and before I move, I make sure that I was hearing correctly. So I was like, you know how when you sleep and you hear something, or like if you just in your room and you hear a unusual noise and you sit there and look for a minute to make sure if you hear it again or anything like that. That's literally how it was. So I sat there for a minute and I was like, and then they called me again. And I was like, okay, let me go to the door, because it was actually the guard that came in. Went to the door, and then he was like, you I was like, yo, and he was like, you Jordan? Jordan Cotton? I was like, yeah, that's me. And then he was like, get your stuff, you about to get ready to go. I was like, oh. I was like, you serious? I was like, I don't even think I said nothing. This was all in my head. My immediately was literally quickly grab my stuff, get the heck out. And I didn't mention this part. Literally, when I was looking at those estimated thing, them crazy estimated things that they was giving me, they literally told me. So they have this thing where you can do a $30 in an ID. They told me, and I know I wasn't tripping. They told me I could not do it. They told me I did not, with what I went in with. They told me I couldn't do it. I could not do the $30 in an ID. I would have to wait literally like a couple weeks. I think they said I was supposed to be in there for like 10 to 12 weeks before they can let me out or anything like that, or something like that. I don't know. But I could not do the $30 in an ID. And I was like, what? This is my first time here. Like, again, I didn't know how it worked. I didn't know how anything went or nothing like that. So after that, when he came in to bring me back out, we went to the front, walked to the front, put everything, took that freaking jumpsuit off, and then they started booking me out. And just out of curiosity, I was like, how am I getting out right now? Like, what by what means? By what means? And they told me $30 in the ID. I was like, y'all just told me I couldn't do that. So how is this happening right now? Now, I was wondering this in my head, but at the same time, I was still grateful and thankful that I was, you know. And then when I got out there, it was my dad. I was like, the heck? My dad. So I get in the car with him and we start heading back to the house or whatever. And then he started telling me, you know, what happened after me and him got off the phone. So when me and him when I called him and told him that they wasn't giving me anything, when he went to the person that was gonna allow, I guess the guy that worked there at the jail or whatever, and when he called him, he asked him if he could, see if, I can get my blankets and stuff. Strictly only that. Let me just clarify. Strictly only that. Only my blankets. And my dad was strict on, you only got one time and that's it. When you mess up. He it's not like he was gonna not do anything. That was my first time in. But like if I was to get myself in that situation again, that's it. But in that moment, I think it was literally strictly just get me my needs while I was in there until we can figure out what we need to do. And not knowing that what we need to do was about to come right then. So my dad was like, the guy that he called, or the guy that he knew that called his class, I think it was his classmate or something like that. Asked him, he was like, "Yo, your son in there?" And he was like, "Yeah, my baby boy in there." And I'm the youngest of 7. So he was like, "Your baby boy in there?" He was like, "Yeah, man, my son in there, the littlest one, and then the youngest one." And then he was like, "What?" And stuff like that. And it's like literally everybody was surprised, man, because you wouldn't expect that from me. But things happen, especially when you're not doing what you're supposed to, when you're not being obedient to God. So, he was like, and the guy that he was on the phone with, I'm not sure what the other conversations was, but the guy that he was on the phone with, he was like, "Hold on, I'm gonna call you right back." So he hangs up, calls, and the guy that my dad called, this guy calls the warden of the jail. When he called the warden of the jail, the warden, was like, "Okay, yeah, we can do that," because they wasn't letting me do the $30 in the ID. But when he called the warden of the jail, they was like, "Yeah, he can do the $30 in the ID so he can get out." That is a whole, testimony, and just freaking run around the whole freaking world type of deal, type of praise. You know what I mean? It's like, bro. And I did not know none of this was going on. I'm literally locked up. All I did was call my dad and told him I needed a blanket and some toothbrushes. So I ain't called nobody asking them, "Y'all gonna be able to get me out?" I ain't none of that, because I put myself in that situation. I did that to myself. And this was only by the grace of God that these things was happening, and I did not know it was happening until I was told after I got out. So, when he told me that, it's like my mind just straight up exploded. It was like, bro, what? I was like, wow. I literally could not say nothing. Like I was thankful, but I didn't know what to say. I was just like, God just be doing the unthinkable, bro. It's crazy. So, after that, that's when he had came up there and got me, literally that same night. And then, actually, was it that same night? No, not that same night. It was yesterday. It was the previous day. So I said I called my dad on the second day and told him that, and he ended up coming to get me on the third day that night when they allowed him to do it. I'm not sure. At some point when they talked and had that conversation or whatever, but I do know that that conversation was had, because it's like, for him to call the warden, and it was like, what was so special about me where you would call the warden to allow me to get out. And it's like, you never know what God can do, how God can use you, how people can use people around you. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, just imagine if that guy and my dad, wasn't cool. Just imagine if I didn't have my dad. Just imagine, like, like man, God is good, bro. God is good. God is so good, bro. So after he told me that, we headed to the house. I took a shower and stuff. Um, and then from that point, it was the waiting period until my court date. And my court date was actually on February 11th. So from December December 2nd, December 3rd was 3 days. I don't know. One of them. From that point all the way up until February 11th. I want y'all to see this. I want y'all to be very attentive of what I'm about to say. From the setting point to the ending point was God testing me. What is your position? What is going to be your position to me? You cried out to me. I heard you. Now you have a set point to where if you either going to go back into that position that I brought you from, or I'm going to take it away from you. And you're going to be free from this thing. So I got to draw this up. So we'll basically do it as like a drawing as a tub. So from here to here. Hold on. I literally got the end. All right. That's better. From here to here, what are you going to do in between? So let's just add some things. Prayer, studying, reading, praising, worshiping, fasting, learning. So in between, my bad, literally in between when I got out was literally the start and the point of my submission to God. So in order for me to hear from God and how this thing was going to play out, was I was going to need to put myself in a position of literally hearing from him. My phone was separate from my phone, was separate from my car, was literally separate from everybody, and was literally praying. Like full on praying, bro. Praying, reading, studying. And when I tell you, I kid you not. Oh my, thank you, Jesus. I kid you not. I was hearing from God in the craziest ways that I've ever was. Like, it was like God was talking to me after he was sitting right by me. Like, it was, bro. All right, I'm gonna go to this I was in this tablet, and look, I even have the date, January 4th. This is also in between
in between the time of when I came out and when I went and towards the end, January 4th. And as you can see, I wrote these scriptures down. I'm gonna hold it up for a minute. Now, as you read, it says, and I'm not sure if anybody has read in the book of Habakkuk. I don't know how to say that name. I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second. Because I want y'all to see this, man. I want y'all to see this. And Habakkuk is not a long, like, it's not a long, what you call it? Like, it just has 3 chapters. So basically here, my positioning to God was wanting to hear from him and for him to let me know if everything was going to be straight, if I was going to get out of this situation, and that I was literally going to change what I was doing in the world, you know. I was going to position myself in the correct way. So it says Habakkuk 1:5, the Lord's answer. And this was actually the Lord's answer to his, was it a hymn? It was the Lord's answer literally to Habakkuk's complaint. So Habakkuk's complaint was, "How long, Lord, must I call for help, but you do not listen, or cry out to you violence, but you do not save? Why do you make me look at injustice? Why do you tolerate wrongdoing? Destruction and violence are before me. There is strife and conflict abounds. Therefore the law is paralyzed and justice never prevails. The wicked hymn in righteousness, so that justice is perverted." And then the Lord answered Habakkuk. This thing popped. That's crazy. What the heck? How did that pop like that? I'm sorry. There was this spider bite on my leg, and it just literally started oozing out stuff. So I know that sound nasty. My bad. All right. So the Lord answers. Look at the nation. That was literally the first thing that I had wrote. Look at the nations and watch and be utterly amazed, for I am going to do something in your days that you would not believe, even if you were told. When I tell people this story, man, they be like, "Bro, you had to snitch to get out of that," or something. Like, they'll just be saying all type of stuff, coming up with all type of stuff. And it was like, who I'm a snitch on? I literally was the only person there. I literally got myself into the situation. So it's like, who I'm a snitch on? So, and if y'all want to, y'all can go and, read this, what you call it. But the only thing I wrote down was the Lord's answer the first time
because the Lord answered twice. And then Habakkuk's prayer, literally the first, what you call it? Lord, I have heard of your fame. I stand in awe of your deeds, Lord. Repeat them in our day, in our time, make them known. In wrath, remember mercy. And he definitely had mercy on me. Because regardless, I was living in sin. I was doing sinful things of the world. And that wrath had came upon me. And he had mercy on me in the middle. And I definitely learned from that situation. And definitely would not put myself back in those predicaments or that predicament. So then, as I read, I really wrote what stood out to me. And then that was the next one was verse 18, basically giving praise and thanks and worshiping God for it. So I just want you to know that when you get revelation and things in the spirit, you have to believe it in the spirit for it to become to fruition, for it to become reality. So, and I had to. I didn't know how things was gonna turn out. My main thought is thinking, we're gonna get to that. I'm not even gonna bring it up yet. But I had to believe in the spirit that God was gonna change my situation around. That thing was gonna happen, that I was gonna be able to make it through this. And so in verse 18 it says, "Yet I will rejoice in the Lord, I will be joyful in God my Savior. The sovereign Lord is my strength. He makes my feet like the feet of a deer. He enables me to tread on the heights." So literally, I was already free and in a new state, and I didn't even know it yet. But that comes from believing and trusting in God before you get the blessing. Believing and trusting in God in spirit before it becomes physical. If that makes sense. So, and I actually had this written down in my notes. And it's crazy how this is all coming together with this. So I had believing the promise in the spirit. When we want something and God gives us confirmation that we will get that thing, or when we are believing God for something, believe that you have received it in the spirit. That's where God operates in the spirit. That's where God operates in the spirit. There are many scriptures speaking on this matter. In the last post, you'll see the scripture coming from Corinthians. So if you go to, and this is something that I was supposed to talk about like in a different video or something, or probably something that I'm gonna post. So, believe that you have received it in the spirit, meaning you already believe you have it, but it's not physical. So in the same way you will feel when you have actually got it in the physical is the same way you should feel in the spirit, as if it's already there in the physical. Why? Because you're showing God that you can be grateful and thankful for the promise and not just praising and thanking Him for when you actually, or for when it's actually visible. Hebrews 11:1. Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is confidence in what we hope for, an assurance of what we do not see. This is what the ancients were commanded for. So it's a step ahead of acknowledging and accepting. So then we'll go to Galatians. Galatians 5:22 through 26.
But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self control. Against such things there is no law. Those who belong to Christ have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires. Since we live by the Spirit, let us keep in step with the Spirit. Let us not become conceited, provoking, and envying each other. And then I said, which goes back into waiting and trusting and having faith in the process, positioning yourself and continuing in your walk with Christ. John 4:23-24. And I'm putting these scriptures because when I said that God is in the Spirit. So it says, yet a time is coming, has now come, when the true worshipers will worship the Father in the Spirit and in truth, for they are the kind of worshipers the Father seeks. God is Spirit, and his worshipers must worship in spirit and in truth. So, actually, why don't I have that highlighted? Hold on. All right. So, through my whole submission to God was literally praying and worshiping, like not playing my game. Now, I did do that, but it was limited. So, most of my time was literally spent on praying, reading, studying, praising, and worshiping, and fasting. Literally, fasting is taking your time away from things. Like, so if you was a person to eat a lot, you would take less time eating and more time replacing that with the word of God. If you play your game all day, you would take less time playing your game and implementing praising, reading, worshiping, and praying, in reverence to God. You replacing something that isn't of God with God so that you can grow in your spiritual growth. And when I tell you, I guarantee you, you would more than likely hear from God. And not just doing it to hear from God to get a blessing or to get, what you pray for or anything like that, because he's going to do it anyway. So also be mindful of your motives and your intentions as well. Because he definitely knows, and I can contest that. So, excuse me. So, literally, that was my whole thing right there. That was from the starting point from when I got out to when towards the end. So, there's nothing to really go into but that part of my whole waiting period of when I was coming to the end of it. So, and as you can see, it says January 4th, 2020, right here at the top, written in ink. Actually, did I have anything else? Oh, yeah, I did. Sorry, I heard that, close. So this was a thought I had on January 5th. This was when I was working in the yard, and I was just
doing some things. So this is something that I was given by my step pops. Um, I don't, I think it. I think it was this. Yeah, it was this. So it says, enter into God's presence with the Lord's Prayer. Remind him of who I am. Psalm 17. You are the apple of his. Your mind and heart are being protected from anxiety. Psalms 23. Plead to God. Psalms 51. And I was given this to read in the daytime. At night, Psalms 70, 77, and Psalms 142. And then deliverance, Psalms 59, protection, Psalms 91, give God praise, Psalms 98. Literally what I was just saying. Psalms 98, 47, and then Psalms 106, verses 1 through 12. Psalms 107 and 108. Psalms 119, 120, 126. And it says favor of man. Psalms 147, verses 12 through 14. And then complete praise to God. Psalms 149 and 150. And literally, that was it through the whole thing, man. Just completely submitting and giving my full attention and time to God. And he was willing to answer back to me because I was submitting to him, you know. And I am thankful and more than grateful that he was willing to conversate with me after I had did all that. You know, it's like, man, after literally running away from you, doing things outside of you, you still was willing to hear from me. That's the greatest thing. So in that time, I was doing that. So now we're coming to the end. And it is the day of me getting into my bad. I was texting somebody. All right, let me tripping. All right. So in the middle of coming to the end, the day that it's time for me to go to the court. Get to the court. I mean, not get to the court. Started heading to the court. Literally, and I just want to be put this out on the table. I was literally getting confirmation just about every day. Confirmation and encouragement, and letting me know that everything was gonna be all right. You ain't got nothing to worry about, basically. And on that day, literally on the same day that it was time to go in there, same thing. Encouragement, confirmation. It's gonna be straight. So I'm like, man, God is really saying it's gonna be straight. So I gotta believe that it's gonna be straight. Get in there to the court, get to the courthouse, go in and walk inside. I think, did we pray before I went in there? I can't remember. I'm not sure if we did or not. But go in there and wait in line, go through the little metal detector, get to the desk, and she asked me what's my name. I said, gave her my name, and then she was like, she was looking for my name, and then she looked, and then she was like, and my heart, this whole time, like my heart was beating so fast the whole time, man, because I didn't know what was gonna happen. So she was like, your case has been uh thrown out. I was like, huh? She was she was like, yeah, your case has been dismissed or rejected. That's what she said. Your case has been rejected. And I was like, what? I was like, yo. But I was like, and she was like, you can go across the street and get your paperwork. I was like, okay. And she was like, literally before I walked, I think before I walked up, she was like, congratulations. And I was like, bro, I was like, yo, God is so good. I was like, oh my goodness. Cause what I was thinking was, and this is literally what we all do, man. We think that what we think is literally what God is going to do. The whole time I was thinking, I was like, maybe they're gonna give me probation. Maybe they're gonna probably put me back in there for like a couple weeks or something. Maybe they gonna, put me on house arrest. I don't know. I don't know how it worked. Maybe they was gonna do something like that. I don't know. But I was not. That was the last thing I was expecting because I didn't know that was a thing that they can reject your case. That was the last thing I was expecting. And some people may be like, well, I mean, you ain't never been to jail before. So it's like, but it's like, it don't matter, to be honest. A lot of people ain't been to jail and got thrown on their butt so bad. And Lord, I pray for those people as well. You know what I'm saying? That's going through that situation and, not able to come out of it and stuff like that. You know? I'm more than grateful and thankful. And I pray for those people that are in those situations. And they will be able to get out. But and then after that, so I end up getting the paperwork and I actually have the picture of it right here. It's it says, please be advised the above referenced charges rejected by this office. The state does not intend to bring these charges back up. However, should additional information become available, we reserve the right to reopen the case at that time. So that was just step one of the deliverance. Now, when God is saying he is going to bring you through a situation and take it away from you, when he says he has it in his hands, believe him. Please do believe him. Do not take his word for granted. And do not take his power for granted either. So after that, I ended up getting that. And literally, even after, more confirmation and encouragement was still coming after. People were my mom was telling me a story about my mom's friend, my pastor's wife, their grandson had said something uh dealing with me as like a prophetic thing, saying that I was going to get out of the situation that I was in. That was God speaking right there. It was like, but I didn't know about that till after this right here. I didn't know about that till after this. So it was a lot of things that was coming in even after, I was done with the situation. So let's see. Let's see if I can find that this what you call it. Not that. Favorite. So after I end up getting that confirmation and stuff, after all that, my dad was like, we need to start working on expunging your case because you don't want them to, bring that stuff back up. And I was like, all right. And same thing, praying and hoping God, to handle what I can't. So we ended up getting the papers and stuff. I ended up going through everything, getting the papers to start the expungement. And I'm not sure if I have it right here. It might be in here. I can't remember what those papers are. But after about a month of trying to do it or waiting and stuff like that, after I started the expungement and stuff, I ended up um getting it. Like they ended up allowing me to be able to have the expungement. It got stamped and signed by the judge and things like that. And I was so thankful and praising God. But not realizing that it still was not done. So literally a year later, I ended up getting a certificate in the mail. And the certificate was basically, it says, as occasion by the honorable judge in the above caption case in compliance with whatever that is, all records on file with the Louisiana State Police criminal identification and information as they related to the arrest of me on December 31st, 2020 by Tanja Bahoa, SO for to produce, manufacture, distribute, dispense, Schedule 4, have been expunged and will be disclosed on a confidential basis to any person or agency entitled to such information pursuant to whatever that is. The FBI has been notified of this action. This was literally a year later. I had did the expungement probably like, so this was February 11th. I did it a month later, I think. A month or two later. So probably March or April. So yeah. Yeah. I think I did it in March. And then a year later, April 12th, 2022. This is what the date is. April 12th, 2022, I ended up getting this certificate of compliance from the state of Louisiana. And I was like, yo, God was working even more on my situation, more than what I thought was going to happen. God was doing the unspeakable. And it's like, it was nothing but God, man. I don't care if you don't believe in God. I don't care if you don't even want to think about God. It was God, bro. I'm gonna give credit where credit is due to my Lord and Savior. It was God, man. Coming from that situation, being a black man in Louisiana, coming from the how the system is set up for black people and stuff like that, it's like, you can't tell me it ain't God. And you're not gonna tell me it ain't God. Never will. Straight up. So like again, I'm saying all this to give encouragement to somebody that God can do the same thing for you. He can do the same thing for you, but it all matters about your positioning. It all matters about how you actually seek God. That will play out your situation. Like, do you actually want God, or do you actually just want God to continue, going back? Now, God did bring me out my situation. So it wasn't immediately after I ended up getting out of my situation that I ended up, falling back into the like clubbing area and stuff like that. But it was Let me see if I can find the because I got the pictures and stuff. Like I said, I still got photos and videos and stuff like that. So yeah, so I'm going through here. It wasn't immediately after. It was like let me see. I can give you a certain date of when I started doing all that stuff all over again. So this happened. This on February 12th, 2021. This was a day after everything. So then we going. Ended up working with my cousin. But before I was working with my cousin, I was in Taz brain injury. I was working in that area with as a caregiver or whatever. Um then after that, that's when I went to go work with my cousin in construction. Um so as I'm going through these pictures, yeah, there's not nothing here. This was March 8th. That's when I actually started with my cousin. March 8th, 2021. So from February to March, it was like a month in. So we're a month in. And then it didn't start till, let's see, this was March 16th, March 18th. Dang, it was a month later. It's not funny, but it was a month later where I literally started back up. So I'm gonna show you some pictures. That's a video. Now I wasn't doing the same thing. That was me in a hotel, in Houston. Me and my partners I was cool with then. We had went to Houston, to do some fun stuff. And then let's see. Yeah, I would just play a snippet, but let's see. And then, bro, when I was in Houston, and it's crazy because guy was still trying to get my attention. He was like, "Yo, do you not realize what we just went through?" So, literally, when we was in Houston, my car, I got into a little bad accident, and the guy tried to dirt off on me. So I chased him down. So then after that, like bad stuff was just happening after bad stuff. My the vehicle that was in ended up getting busted into. The mall we was at, not busted into. Somebody got in it because they left the door unlocked and took literally just about everything. And they took the money that they had. Then we was in the mall, and I think they had a shooting going on or something like that. And then at first at the beginning, one of them, what you call it, wasn't going through because of something I can't remember. It was just like all type of stuff, and I was just like, bro, what the heck? Um, and I'm actually, we took a picture of it too. That was the person that we was talking to when somebody got into the car. Um, But yeah, yeah. So I'm showing these things not to be like, oh, look at me. I'm showing these things as like a disappointing thing, you know, at least from the way I'm seeing it now. Um, so after that, let's see. After that, continued on the same stuff, you know, still fornicating, doing things that I shouldn't be doing. Um, and I was still in construction. I was with him. I was with my cousin for like 9 months, I believe. And then uh, I had decided to dye my hair in reverence to my brother. Um, April 5th was when I dyed my hair of 2021. Then still with my brother, still with my brother. I mean, not still with my brother, still in construction. Still in construction, I think there. Still in construction, still in construction. Oh man, a lot of fornicating. Still clubbing. Yep, that woo was literally still out there. It was this thing say 2 a.m. 2 a.m. in the morning. I think I literally had work the next day. Crazy. And I had to drive to New Orleans. Um, yeah. Let's see. Like, bro, it's terrible, man. Like, it was terrible, man. Still in construction. Still in there, still in there, still in there. Oh my gosh, bro. Right here. This was on my birthday. Sloppy drunk, gone. Literally had to be carried. Terrible. And I'm willing to put these things out into the world because I want people to know how I was living and what God can do for you in the same way, in the sense of how I was living, bro. Like straight up. So, and I'm being open and honest about it. You know, I ain't hiding nothing. Let me see. Same thing, same thing, same stuff. And we're in September. We're in September now, September 17th. Um, Same thing, same stuff. We're in October. Same thing, same stuff. And I was into guns and stuff like that heavy. Like for real. Let's see. Hold on. Hold up. You can literally see it sticking out of my pocket. Man. Same stuff. Same stuff. Same stuff. Same stuff. Same stuff, man. Stuff that didn't serve me no purpose, of stuff that didn't build me in any type of way. Same things, same things, same things. Was literally going out that night. Same stuff. Same stuff, man. And that was actually me and my partners going to go shoot. Nothing crazy. But but I was just showing that to show how heavy I was into guns, you know. And there's not nothing wrong with guns until you start using them in negative ways and or wanting to use them in negative ways. And this is where everything changed and was starting to change. That was the ending of all that was probably in like December going into the new year. And the ending of everything was at this point. May 31st, 2021. When I became a truck driver, or when I went to truck driving school and stuff. And I was in truck driving school from May 1st to the end of May, and immediately went to Warner. This was me headed out to West Memphis. They had got me a rental car and stuff. But that was literally the start and the change, you know. The guy was separating me and isolating me from those things, you know, pointing out who I don't need to be around, who I need to be around, things like that. And the isolation just kept going and growing, you know. And at that point, and then after I left them, but I'm already getting into the next video. So we're going to say that for the next video. But I hope this encourages somebody. I hope this opens somebody's heart and mind up to God, and you know, them being able to submit, and you know, just, and one thing about it, be honest, man. Just be honest with yourself. Be honest with God, because He wants you to talk to Him. He wants to hear from you. And one thing's for certain is I wasn't the greatest person. So in the next video, we are going to get into the whole trucking thing. I know I kind of said a little bit just then because I was just rambling, but we're going to get into the whole thing. I pray this bless somebody. I pray the Holy Spirit continue to use me and, you know, allow me to tell this story in the best way possible. And if you have any questions, if you have any, you know, anything to say, the comments are open. Y'all be blessed, and I love y'all.